Hello and welcome to the Intelligent Inbound podcast brought to you by SmartBug Media. I'm your host, Jen Spencer, and today I'm speaking with Natalie Gullatt, marketing manager at HubSpot and founder of the Black Marketers Association of America. Natalie is an experienced marketing leader with a focus on marketing strategy and social media marketing, digital marketing, and customer marketing. And we're going to talk a lot about customer marketing today. Welcome, Natalie.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here and to have this conversation.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I have so many questions I want to ask you about customer marketing and the role of customer marketing when you're running an inbound organization. But I want to start with the Black Marketers Association of America, or the BMAA. You founded this group back in 2017, I think, and I just would love for you to share a little bit about like the catalyst. Why did you found this organization? What were and are your goals with the org,
Sure.
and generally, like, what can you tell us about the work that the BMAA does?
Sure. BMAA is my baby. In 2017, I started a new role with the company, I want to say February, and I was getting into a space where it was time for me to start networking again. I live in
Yeah.
Atlanta, Georgia, and I got a role that was closer to the city. So I thought of it as a great opportunity to network again.
Mhm.
And I knew that I was out of my depth. I knew that I wasn't as experienced as other marketers. I knew I didn't necessarily know as many things. And I didn't feel comfortable asking those who did not look like me because I knew that they had certain advantages that I did not. They had certain upbringings, they had certain exposure. I grew up in the inner city of Atlanta. I went to a public school system on the southwest side of Atlanta. So I knew there were a lot of things I didn't know. I experienced it when I went to college at Emory University, and I just felt more safe with other Black people. So amongst this time, I was looking for Black organizations. I found National Black MBA, love and endorse
Mm.
that organization. But I wanted more people that knew marketing. I understand that marketing is something that is very broad. It is something that not everybody understands unless they're in it. And I was looking for, again, the safe space. So I was asking around, where's the Black marketing organization? Where's the organization for marketers? Not advertising, not communications. I want something for marketing. And yes, advertisers can come in. I know marketing is an umbrella that hosts those different areas, but I work in, at the time, I was going into communications, but I also worked in customer marketing before. So
Mm.
where are my people? Where are we at? And my friends, I tell this story all the time, and it's so funny. They go, "Make it, Natalie. You keep asking for it. Just do it." And I was like, that's not very nice. And they said it at least three more times. Mind you, again, I said in February, I
Yeah.
started looking and I found it BMAA in May of 2017 because I got tired and I said, you know what? Since you want to keep telling me to make it, I'm going to just do it. That was probably an immature response, but it was a
No.
response that worked out really well. So that's kind of what happened, and it's grown since then. I thought it was just going to be a small messaging group where I just talked to people, but people thought and demanded more. You know, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So
Mhm.
I said, okay, I'm finding new roles now. I'm happy in my career, but I need to help my people find more roles. And so I said, how can I do that easier or in a way that is accessible? I created a
Mhm.
job board, created a website, all these different things. And in general, our mission on our website, it says it on the homepage, it says it on the About Us page, so you can't miss it. But it's to empower and elevate Black marketers, which is the short version of it, to be
Mhm.
successful in their marketing careers. So, be it corporate marketers like myself, be it freelancers, be it Black owned marketing agencies, how can we empower and elevate them to be successful? So, we do something called Melanin Marketing Monday. So, every Monday on social media, we feature a Black marketer, unless it's like a holiday or something. And we talk about those voices that you don't always see or know or
Mm.
hear. We also sometimes on Wednesdays, we'll do something like, let's shout out a Black owned marketing agency. We did a few in August, which was Black owned Business Month. We post every Tuesday and Thursday new jobs for Black marketers to check out. That's on our job board. We're always trying to elevate. We do events. We have a ton of events coming up. We have partner corporations like the Home Depot, Demand Base, DoorDash, you name it. We got some pretty
Yeah.
dope partners. They're awesome. They're all committed to diversity, equity, and inclusion. That is a part of the requirement process to be a partner for Black Marketers Association of America. And we have candid conversations with them on here are some things that are in demand for Black talent. These are the things that would make, the work environment more equitable. We have so many different resources for Black marketers. So, for example, you said I work at HubSpot. I loved HubSpot before I joined HubSpot. And I said, HubSpot Academy is like the place you need to be. It
Yeah.
just is.
Yeah.
And no, HubSpot does not pay me to say this. They pay me to do my job, but my job is not to plug them. I literally was a fan before I joined HubSpot. And you could probably see it on my LinkedIn because I got my certs in 2016, 2017. So I'll just
Yeah.
say if people want to get involved, if you are a Black marketer, we have a membership drive right now to the end of the month, discounted. And if you're interested in partnering as a corporation, we have new options available. We have packages on our site, but then we also have sponsor for event packages that are coming up. We're doing so many exciting things. We're planning for next year. And my board and my team is phenomenal. I always shout them out no matter who I talk to because I can't do this alone. And they're
Yeah.
truly the heart behind it. I think it's really wonderful. It's passionate. And overall, I didn't envision it being this way when someone said, just make it yourself. And I said, okay, fine. But it has grown to a national organization. We have job board frequently asked questions, membership frequently asked questions. Basically, the website will tell you all the amazing things that are happening, and there is more to come. So I'm excited. I can't give away too much because I sometimes spill the beans. So I'm going to stop.
All right. All right. Well, listen, I applaud your friends for pushing you and saying, just make it, just build it, just create it. Because thank you for doing that. And that's how we affect change in our world is by kind of stepping up and you're obviously really helping so many people, and the fact that you just referenced a team, and how many people are on that team now with you?
Ooh, on the board, it's just, I think it's 8 of us total.
Yeah,
And then they
yeah,
have between 5 to 7 people that work with them on the team. So I will say that is the one thing I love about BMAA. I've not
yeah,
been able to manage full-time people in my current roles at work. But with BMAA, everyone does this as a passion project
yeah.
part-time. And I get to manage my leadership team and they manage their reports. So we all get experiences that we may not have the opportunity to do so. So that's also another way we empower and elevate people. We give people opportunities and experiences.
Absolutely. I know, both, I worked in nonprofit
Mhm.
in performing arts, in theater nonprofit,
I did
and as
that years ago.
yeah, and it is a great place to because you have to wear so many hats, and it's a great place to learn and grow. And I credit so much of my career to the work that I did when I was working for a nonprofit, and then also volunteering on a board as well, like getting those experiences. I think it is great, and I think it is really overlooked by folks. They expect they're going to get all of their career development out of the job that they have, which, I mean, yes, you do get quite a bit, but also through volunteerism and associations and groups like the Black Marketers Association of America. You're going to get those experiences too, and those are should not be undervalued.
I
So,
agree.
like, yeah. Well, awesome. Well, let's switch gears a little bit and talk about work and talk about marketing work. And you're, like you said, you're on the marketing team at HubSpot, which is a massive, massive organization, massive marketing team, vast. But you're part of the customer evidence team, and I have to tell you, I've never heard that term before. Customer evidence team. I've never seen a team like that. Customer marketing, right? Um, Can you share a little bit about like the type of work that you do and the impact that that work has on the company?
Sure. So I agree. Before I got here, there wasn't a customer evidence team I had worked on before. Customer advocacy improved. There's like so many tiers of the marketing team, as you said, at
Yeah.
HubSpot. So many. I won't even
Yeah.
go into it because I, one, don't know all of them, but two, it just gets really, it gets really intense, which is great for a marketer. I love it.
Yeah.
But essentially, my team, and I'll go first, I'll start with where I sit and expound on my team. So I am internally known as the Lighthouse Merchandising Marketing Manager. A lot of people have no idea what that means in and outside of HubSpot. So I
Yeah.
explain it a lot. It's a new role, and essentially, Lighthouse is a type of account. So I won't go into details about that. But I will say merchandising is a nice way of saying I enable marketers within HubSpot to use customer proof, customer advocacy, customer assets, collateral, whatever you want to call it, in their campaigns to bring in more prospects and close more deals. And so that my whole entire team is finding different ways to do that. I focus on upmarket accounts. I focus on medium, mid-sized businesses, enterprise level businesses. I focus on buzzy brands or names that you may know, like a SoundCloud for one. And that will be, a company I work with. And so I
Mhm.
work with different organizations of that matter and getting their stories out. I like to say, if I had to describe it in less than 10 words, I my job is to make the customer the hero. Make sure that the customer's story is making them look good. Yes, it advocates and promotes HubSpot's brand, but how do I say what they're doing as well, and then just saying HubSpot helped them be at that space? On my team, I also have people who work on different things, such as customer reviews that are online. I have someone else who focuses on small, medium business customer stories. I have someone who focuses on advocates. So the people who are our cheerleaders, she focuses on that area. So we have, I want to say, now I'm counting them out loud, about 6 people on this
Mhm.
team that focus on customer evidence and customer proof. And so our goal is to essentially enable other marketers to use customer stories, customer evidence, as we said, which will be case studies, as you probably know them, customer testimonials, as well as online reviews. So we can get reviews as well as testimonials and other things of that nature in different marketing channels to attract and to eventually close
Mhm.
different prospects and accounts.
Beautiful. And that's one of the things I wanted to dig in with you on is sort of the role of customer marketing, the role that customer marketing and advocacy can play within the inbound methodology. And and because I talk to marketers looking for help, support, all day long, and they're all very much focused on their funnel, right? On driving leads top of funnel, on nurturing those leads, on building sales pipeline. And we we frankly, I don't hear people talk about customer evangelism, customer marketing, right? It's so how does customer marketing, how does the work that you're doing and that you've done over your career in this area, how does that work within the inbound methodology? And maybe if you could share like something very tangible, like example of a campaign, so that our like the listeners just can wrap their heads around, all right, like I see the role that this team member or these types of activities plays in my overall marketing strategy.
Sure. So, first, I want to say customer marketing starts before the customer becomes a customer. I know that sounds really odd. I know that is something that people are like, what do you mean? Let me explain. So, the customer experience, as everyone probably knows, starts when they come to your website because you have attracted them with your wonderful content, right? Inbound
Yep.
methodology.
Yep.
So, when they come to your website, what does that experience look like? What does their first interaction and engagement looks like through sales, right? So sales is the front line. Let's just say we have a few meetings, and when they have those meetings, now they're wondering, can you help my business grow? Whatever your problem is,
Mhm.
whatever your product is. I'm sorry, not problem, product. Whatever your product is, can you help my business grow and for the least amount of money so my ROI and my profit margins are sustainable? And
Mhm.
so a lot of times sales will come and ask, are there any case studies in this specific industry? Are there any case studies for this size business? That's customer evidence and customer advocacy. That's more middle, lower funnel too. That can
Mhm.
also help make or break deals. If you do not have a case study, if you do not have customer references that can go in and vouch and say, I've been with them for 5 years, I don't regret it, these are some of the things that I've done. You are really bringing the customer experience to them. You're giving them those resources, and how you treat them before they sign is going to be evidence to them how you're going to treat them after they become a
Yeah.
customer, which is why customer marketing, customer experience starts before they become a customer. So that's one. The other thing that I want to talk about is some of the tangible things that you can do. Now, before I got on a team of 6 that focuses on customer evidence, I was a team of 1 at my previous role with customer marketing. And my first customer marketing job, I was a team of 1. So
Mm.
it is not unusual. All spaces I've done customer marketing have been in SaaS, so software as a service, of course, and B2B.
Mhm.
But this is the first time I'm on a team with more than one person, and it was just me. So that means I had to do customer references, customer reviews, customer stories, or case studies. I had to do it all. And in my first role, I also had to do social media. So
Yeah.
you'll probably say, did you sleep? No. And it's okay. I love what I do. I love my job. No complaints. I also love HubSpot, just so that's very clear. I
Yeah.
love this company. They're great at what they do in general. And I'll say, as far as the most tangible result, is my favorite campaign to date because I don't do as many campaigns now because I'm
Mhm.
enabling so many people. And I'll get back to that in a second. But because I was a team of 1, I had to do a referral campaign. And so you're probably thinking, okay, I just asked customers to tell me other customers to talk to. No, because if you do, and you didn't take the time to nurture, you didn't work with your customer success team, you didn't work with customer experience, you are just randomly asking people for something and you haven't done your job. So you
Mm.
must make sure that as a customer marketer, you are talking to everyone. You're not just talking to sales. Lead gen marketers, demand gen marketers, they can just kind of talk to sales and they're good. Customer marketing, not so much. You have to talk to customer experience to gauge how customers are feeling. What are we doing to make them happy? Sometimes a little bit of swag goes a long way. Like, give them a
Yeah.
mug, give them something, they're happy about it. But basically, once you gauge it, I did a customer referral campaign in 2016. Yep, 2016, because it was an Olympic themed campaign. And the goal was really referrals, but I had to not just be referrals. They couldn't experience that. They had to experience opportunities. So I gamified it with a company called Influitive.
Mhm.
Love them to this day. But Influitive, their CSM, again, perfect example. My
Yeah.
CSM at the time was really helpful. She helped me come up with the activities for them to do. So they weren't just asked, some of them were just fun things like, tell me your favorite event in the Olympics. And people would tell me that. We would give them points for it and then they would get awards for it. We would make it competitive for them. We would really
Yeah.
tap into it. But overall, the reason why the referral campaign was a success and we exceeded those goals, I think it was maybe 6 referrals, maybe ended up in 30 referrals. And you're probably wondering how or why, without getting into the nitty gritty, is because I listened to customers. Part of the campaign was to ask them, what are some things or
Mm.
that you face and have challenges with? What are the things that hesitate you from making a referral? I asked that from the beginning. And at the time, a lot of them were like, I don't want to refer your company because I'm referring such a great tool and a great asset to a competitor. I could lose out on business. And I said,
Yeah.
wait, oh. Well, that's okay. We have different areas of the business you can refer. You can refer someone in this industry, and it'll still count. That's what made that tick go up. Soon as I educated my customers, because I had asked them and I listened to them, I was able to do it. Then I also said we have another product as well that you can refer people to. That would be awesome if that's something that you would like to do. It was very helpful. I also told them, I said, what are, are you open to other things other than referrals? And they said, sure. What could we do? I said, would you be open to promoting us on Twitter? Because that's where most of my audience was. I said, would you retweet us? Would you put this tweet? I found different creative ways for advocacy to where not only did I exceed the referral goals, I then created new goals that I could then succeed at. So therefore, our brand awareness was a lot higher on social. It ended up driving more traffic to our website. It ended up giving us more opportunities through the referrals. It ended up allowing me to upsell, all because of that campaign. Yes, again, I used a tool and it took some time to build that campaign out. So take your time.
Mhm.
But it is something I think that is super tangible that I was able to do with a team of one, but I also have the resource. So if you're a
Mhm.
team of one, don't think that you cannot invest in tools and different outside vendors. Don't be afraid. I mentioned
Mhm.
Intuitive, and this is not to promote anybody. It's just the tool I use.
Yeah.
I My team member, she uses CrowdVicate at HubSpot. So I do think that using tools is a great thing to try to do.
I love, thank you for sharing like that these examples, because I mean my head right now is just spinning with so many ideas and things that we could and should be doing, right? It's exciting. It's exciting to feel like, wow, I can do something more than just case studies, right?
Absolutely.
Um, but one of the things I just want to underscore is how you did listen and you did ask, and because I've also been a customer on the receiving end of customer advocacy where it fell flat, where the organization invested in a platform, similarly, and came up with these different, activities and things for me that did not resonate with me.
Yeah.
And that then all of those messages became added noise and actually had more of a negative impact on like my perception of the brand than a positive
Mhm.
one. And so there's a little bit like once you have like some kind of an automation, you have that kind of a tool without the
Yeah.
strategy and the research, you could just amplify a negative experience.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Yes.
um so it's I think it's also like what I also have heard, what I'm hearing from you is you were given the runway, it sounds like, to really plan something well and execute it well, as opposed to being dropped into a role and being expected to achieve get results very quickly. That's what it sounds like to me. I don't know if you can validate or confirm that.
I'm thinking in that role, I get runway at HubSpot. It's a great place to work. Yes, I need to get results, but I also have runway too. It's a
Yeah.
nice hybrid. But in that role, I think because I had certain tangible goals, so like online reviews was a goal that I had to make. And so I told again my CSM. So I guess if I'm being honest, I guess I had a team of two then. It was me and the CSM.
Sure.
And use and really leaned heavily on that resource. That was my first job in marketing full time. I'll be completely
Mm,
honest with you.
yeah.
But when it came down to it, the online review goal was for the end of the year, and I just started maybe a month before. And she said, "Let's just figure out what we need to do short term, and then after we get that game plan implemented really quickly, then we can plan next year. And what you need to do is make sure you understand what the goals are for the greater marketing team that your leader is going to set, which she
Mhm.
did set, and how I fit into those goals as well, and what I can do to help those goals." So I did get a little bit of runway, and it
Mhm.
was it wasn't so detailed in the goals. This is kind of a leadership, I think, thing, is that sometimes if you have goals, maybe not say in January we need to do this, maybe keep it broad at a Q1 and
Yeah.
then adjust where needed, because that allowed me to do that runway, especially because I said if we want referrals, I want to do it at a time when when I can get attention. I was able to get attention. I knew, we all know the Olympics is a worldwide event. So that was really a big thing too. And it gave me the opportunity. Another thing I did, I have a habit of asking a lot of questions. And I
Hmm.
asked, would you all be interested in doing something fun for the Olympics before I did it? And so it gave me that opportunity, so then I can come back to the team, my boss, my team, and leadership and say, hey, they would like to do something Olympic theme. I just need some time to build it out. I can do the referrals in Q2 versus in Q1 and probably get better results. Once I was able to do that, then it was okay, well, what do you need to be successful? And
Hmm.
then I can go from there. So I think, to your point, yes, I got a little bit of runway, but did I have to do some immediate actions? Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Do you mentioned your role, past roles, you haven't always had the opportunity just to focus on customer marketing, customer evidence. You've had to wear multiple hats. For organizations that they don't have someone they can dedicate full time to customer marketing, is it possible for your typical Swiss Army knife marketer? So I like refer to them all, all these marketing generalists. Is it possible to tackle some customer marketing? Is it a good use of time when you think about if you've got a team of, let's say you've got a marketing team of like 2 to 4, people, and is it worth it? Is it worth it to say, okay,
Absolutely.
this person or like this amount of time is going to be carved out to customer marketing?
Absolutely. I definitely say that it is definitely worth it. I think not enough organizations do it enough. I think
Hmm.
it should be, if this is me humbly speaking, in my opinion,
Yeah.
you have 2 to 4, you have someone who focuses on case studies and they put that a part of their role. So if you have someone who does the writing, have them work on case studies as well as a part of that inbound methodology.
Hmm.
For someone else who focuses on maybe social, they focus on testimonials. So then that can give them content to use on social as well as
Hmm.
on their website. So you are embedding it a part of their role. So it's not like you aren't doing anything until you can get a customer marketer to take all of that on and really build out a customer marketing program. But I think one of the things that I think, again, in my humble opinion, that a lot of organizations are not doing is they are not focusing on customer marketing until they've grown to a certain size.
Yeah.
And then that's when they hit roadblocks, because at this point, they have not worked on building the relationships they should. They have not gotten to the habit of being customer first, which is probably also why I like HubSpot. We're a customer focused, customer first organization. Our CEO Yamini talks about it. She talked about it last week at Inbound. It is something we do, and as a customer marketer, it is music to my ears, because that means everything that we do has the customer in mind, and so it makes my job a smidge bit easier
Yeah.
because I am getting the support from top down of what's best for the customer and not just what's best for the organization. So, long story short, it is very easy to add a couple of things to a team of 2 or 4. Like I said, example, you have a writer, which you probably should have them start doing case studies now. You have
Yeah.
someone working on social, have them get customer testimonials from the CS team. That also helps build that relationship, for it's not just sales. You're now going to work with CX to say, who can I get these customer testimonials from? Bonus points if you can get a video instead of a written quote.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing
Yeah.
what you can do. And look, you made your job 1,000 times easier because now you have content for your inbound methodology.
Yeah. There. Yes. Absolutely. Now, you mentioned a lot of organizations, they wait until they hit these roadblocks. What are some of those symptoms? If we have people listening and or watching, and they're like, how do I know that maybe that's me? Maybe I've hit a roadblock. What are some of the symptoms that they might be feeling inside their organization?
A lot of times, I'll say my last organization, I think the reason why they wanted to focus on customer marketing was one, because of the leadership. I
Mm,
think, or now I know that the leadership, my manager at the time, he said, I want customer marketing under my belt. And it was at a point where outbound wasn't working anymore. We had a ton of
mm,
SDRs or BDRs, and they said, we're not getting the same return. Soon as your company starts noticing that we're not growing in the way we used to. And yes, we have inbound, yes, we have outbound, but we're getting really stagnant, borderline decline in our sales and our closing of our deals. And you've looked at other areas in the organization and you notice that it's not a economy thing. The pandemic last year was a little crazy. It threw us off for a loop.
mhm.
But if you didn't realize in the pandemic customer marketing was important, then hello, wake up.
Yeah,
It's that should have told you then, but it's okay. You can wake up now. It's never too late
yeah,
to wake up. I think. But
yep, yep.
if you start noticing that your retention isn't going well, that's another one. It's a lot of companies who focus on growth, 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 but you can't hit those new numbers if your customers aren't staying because you haven't worked with them, right? And
Yeah.
the beauty is people think of customer marketing as what can I get out of the customer? And remember what I said, make the customer the hero. How can this benefit them? Not just you. And if you have a hard time answering it, they won't be able to answer it. So, one of the things I do
Mm,
now at HubSpot is one of the ways we do advocacy is we have a broad network, as you probably know. We have a broad space. And we say, listen, we have HubSpot Academy, you have a subject matter expertise. Would you be willing to teach a course? That is something that helps because behind every marketing campaign, let me just jump in and say that, is a human
yeah.
with feelings, needs, and wants, even in B2B marketing. So if you are saying, would you like to teach a course, one that's flattering to them, two that allows them to share their subject matter expertise, and three, it helps their personal brand, no matter who they are. Then it also helps the company brand
Mhm.
because they're now getting their logo in front of more people who may not have known who they are. So that is how you're getting that advocacy because not only are they endorsing you and speaking on your areas, but they now feel warm and fuzzies. And because you've already talked to the CX team and you know you have a good relationship with them and they're happy and they want to do this, when I come back and say, now, would you be willing to do a case study? They're more likely to say yes because now they trust me and know that I'm not just doing this for me, I'm also doing this for you. And when I ask
Yeah.
those questions in the case study, I'm going to ask you, yes, how do we help you grow your business? But I'm going to say, well, what are some of the things that you're proud of? That is a really great question. I don't think that all marketers ask when they're doing case studies.
I love that question. I absolutely love that question. And it's like it's like so simple, right? But you are when you're doing a case study with a customer, I mean, you're celebrating your efforts together. It's not just
Yep.
about you as the business, right? It's about it's a partnership and that collaboration. And it's also to your point, it's like these are people who do these these jobs, right? These are whether they're marketers or whoever it is, right? That your customer is that you're working with, and getting and kind of tapping into what drives them
Right,
gets you, I think, it gets you an authentic response
right.
as opposed to what they think you want them to say.
Correct. And I think if it helps people, don't call it customer marketing, call it relationship marketing. I tell
Yeah.
people that all the time. If you just remember relationship first, it'll help a bit because if you're thinking customer marketing, marketing to customers is some people think, especially customer experience teams, they're going to think, oh, but if you're a marketer or sales, you're going, okay, so how can I use customers to help market the product? When I'm going,
Yeah.
both of you are right. Both of you are absolutely right.
Yep.
It's not one or the other. It's both working together. But like you said, it could be partner marketing, right? Just
Yeah.
think of it, whatever it takes for you to understand that sometimes it's going to take a little bit of runway. Customer marketing is not going to be demand gen marketing. It's not going to be that way. You're going to have to work on building and nurturing that relationship. Don't think that Soon as they sign, hey, can I get a case study? Well, one,
Yeah.
you have no data. That's just not going to
Yeah.
work. It's just not going to work. But two, think about, I'm going to ask them in 6 months for a case study. What can I do to ensure that the data I want to see will be
Mhm.
reflected in that case study? And yes, that seems a little manipulative, but it's not, because your goal for your business, and not to get in anyone's business, literally and figuratively,
Yeah.
but your goal is to help your customers. If you're
Yeah.
not doing that from the beginning, then you're already a little bit behind.
Yeah.
I don't know if this any of this will help you. I think you got to go a couple steps first.
Yeah. No, and you know what? I love that, just kind of that nuance or that reframing of customer marketing to relationship marketing, because I know over the course of my career, I've definitely hit some I've hit some walls, right? Where the customer success is like, "Ah, get out of my get like leave, like no, like they're afraid that you're going to be pushing the customer to do something that they don't want to do or they're not ready for, and then they're the ones who have to, kind of fix that relationship, or they're the ones who are talking with that customer kind of every day. And so sometimes you get a little bit of like a roadblock from
Yep.
those CSMs, because they're, they're in the direct line. They're the ones who are working with that customer and dealing with, hey, how come your company sent me this request for a review or a request for a referral when you've been, 3 weeks behind on, whatever. There's like, something. And so there's fear, especially in automating anything like that.
And I think there's a tip with that too. Is one, again, relationship building. And I think when people say, "What is your superpower?" Besides empathy, is relationship building. And my boss kind of told me that too, or my manager. He said that. He
Yeah.
said, "You're really good at building relationships. You're really good at getting people to do stuff." I said, "Because I'm super empathetic. I know I don't want to be bothered in certain aspects, and so I'm super understanding to other people who apparently have higher thresholds than I do, which is
Yeah.
great." So it makes my job even easier. But I definitely say there are some CSMs, and I guess because I've had the experience now, some
Yeah.
CSMs are going to say, copy me on every email. I don't mind if you email them, just copy me. Some will say,
Mhm.
let me know first, and I will reach out. Or some will say, if you talk to them, don't really care. But I know if I want the best results, again, as a marketer, because that's my job, I will speak their language. Can you give me a
Yeah.
list of customers that are currently green and have been green for 3 months for the past quarter? If I say that to CSMs, when I then go to ask for a case study, and this, of course, is probably SaaS speak, but I'm sure it applies in other industries too. If I say to the CSMs, hey, I need green customers who've been green for 3 months, they're probably going to say, well, why? Because
Mhm.
I want to do a customer interview. I want a customer that is going to go, who's going to be willing to do it and say good things. And they're going to say, oh, well, you know what? I actually can recommend some customers for you, because while they may not be green, I know this person is a good speaker. That's how you get the partnership conversation kind of going. But I make it easy for them. I say, can you give me green customers for the past 3 months? And that way, if they give me a list of that, if I need to automate it and put it in HubSpot, of course, and send out an
Yeah.
automated email, I already know that these customers are green. I could upload the list. It's
Mhm.
pretty simple, if you do. But if you are a small organization, you might not even need to do that. You might can just send out a mass email, not to the customers, but to the CSMs, and say, hey, I would like to get reviews. Make sure, when as a marketer, kind of put on your journalism hat and do the who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Mhm.
And so that way they know, make it easy for them. That's the same with customer marketing. Make everything easy for them. I've offered customers, I will draft your executive quote. All you have to do is edit and tell me who is the author of it, and we can go from there. Make things easy. The CSMs, the same way. Hey, I want to do this campaign by this time. Probably give them an earlier date. So if you want to do it in Q3, probably tell them you want to launch it in Q2, just to give them
Yeah.
some runway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, say, this is what I want it to look like. Also, do your homework too. You're a marketer. You know what a buyer persona is. Look up customer personas, put that in writing too. The ideal customer looks like this, because you
Mm.
know what you want to say. And then when they get it, you can say, okay, look, this is what we need to get done. I would love to partner with you on this effort so we can both be successful. And that way you can go from there. And I think that is
Yeah.
one way to invite them in on the process, but then also to ensure your success. Because yes, the CSMs, I'm not going to lie, I've met so many that have been so terrified to ask. And I've even joked and said, what are they afraid of? And to your point, we know because they're the ones that are going to have to bear the consequences that we don't always have to see as marketers. So it's really important to not only build relationships with the customers, but it's also important to build the relationships with the CSMs. I told you from the beginning, it's not just talking to sales. You have
Yeah.
to talk to the CSMs too. They are your unsung heroes that you probably didn't even realize that you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I I feel like there are so many awesome takeaways from this conversation, and I'm so pumped. This has been really awesome. I have one more question I want to ask
Sure.
you, and it's because I love asking this of all of my guests, and I think there might be something fun that you'll have to share too. Um, Pretend time and money are not an issue, which I know is hard to wrap your head around. What's an example of a kind of campaign or strategy, marketing tactic that you have been itching to try?
Ooh, that's a great one. I don't necessarily have a marketing strategy or campaign. I'm going to step out of my corporate hat for 2 seconds and get back to
Sure.
BMAA. Because if I had all the time and the money in the world, BMAA would be even larger.
Mhm.
My goal, and I've said this before, and I have no problem saying it now because I'm going to speak it into an existence. I want to do a mega conference for Black marketers. And I want to do one where we have awesome speakers, we have workshops, we have a career fair, we have a Black owned business fair. And essentially, it would be just all the people that want to come, anybody who wants to see Black excellence on display, especially in the marketing agency. I want everyone to leave with some type of takeaway, not just I feel good. Yes, feel good, but I also want you to feel good about I got an interview, or if you're an employer, I found great talent, or I found a new resource for the Black owned marketing agency, or I found, all these great things. I want them to leave with that. And if I had all the money and time in the world, like, it would be done. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, I do not have all the money and time in the world. So I can't do that. That is something I'm itching to do. It will happen, but
Yeah.
I've had to teach myself a little bit more patience with BMAA, and my team has worked
Mhm.
with me on that. So thank you to them again, because I probably drive them insane. But that's what I'm itching to do, mainly because it is a part of event marketing in that aspect of it. And I'm not an event marketer to my core. That is something that
Yeah.
I've had to do in roles, but I'm not an event marketer. You've said my expertise earlier, and
Yeah.
that's not it. But that's something I'm itching to do, itching to get off the ground. And how can I make it different from other conferences, but also still amazing like other conferences? So want to
All
do it.
right. Well, I believe you will. I believe we will. I'm we're putting it out there to the all the marketers in the universe.
Yes.
Let's make this happen. So I love it. I love it. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you so much for joining me today. So if anyone listening wants to learn more about you, the work you're doing, whether it's at HubSpot or with the Black Marketers Association of America, where do you want them to go?
So if you want to reach out to BMAA, definitely check out our website, blackmarketers.org. Kind of simple to remember. My team is on that website. If you want to reach the team, executive board at blackmarketers.org. It'll get everybody in one go. So you don't have to worry about remembering the email. So if you're trying to email me, it'll still come to me. I still get it. Happy to talk about it. If you want to learn more about HubSpot, oh my gosh, HubSpot.com has a ton of information. I mentioned HubSpot Academy. Definitely go to it. I need to go to it more myself. And I'm happy to chat. I'm on LinkedIn as my name is spelt below. So definitely just look me up. I'm always open to connecting with people, but do please give me some grace because I'm buried underwater in terms of meetings and things right now. So if I'm not super responsive immediately, one, be persistent, and two, do understand it's not personal. I just am kind of buried. That's all.
Yeah. Understandable. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone, for listening. Please join us next week for another episode of the Intelligent Inbound podcast. You're going to get to meet other industry experts who, like Natalie, are challenging the status quo for inbound marketing. And if you learned something today, which I'm sure you did, please pay it forward by rating and reviewing us on your podcast listening platform of choice. Make it a great day, everyone.